Dude, this Friday high school. How many years? Just like no down.
I'm not quite used to this technology. I've seen smart boards. I've never used one. As someone pointed out to me, that I started teaching 40 years ago this September. So I've been in education for 40 years, and that was well before computers were even in schools. So, and now we have computers and things, and I've seen smart boards used, but I've never used one. So I think this is the first slide. Well, the first slide is the title of the session. Anyhow, I'm Bill Dingledine. I'm an independent counselor, but I've been in education for 40 years. I started in Baltimore as a teacher and coach. I used to coach football, wrestling, and lacrosse, and I taught math and science. I was director of admissions, director of college counseling, assistant head of the upper school, and then I moved to Greenville, South Carolina, where I was head of the upper school and assistant headmaster at Christ Church Episcopal School. And then for the past 17 years, I've been an independent counselor, meaning that I work with students all over Greenville County, all over South Carolina, all over the country, and around the world in terms of helping them figure out what's going to work for them. What is the best program and process? Who are they as individuals? So I just give a little bit of that as background so you can kind of know from where I'm coming and sort of what authority I speak with. Some authority, but now, how many of you go to school here? How many of you go to school elsewhere? Okay. And I assume that all of you are 9th or 10th graders. Is that right? Anyone not a 9th or 10th grade grader or parent? Okay. And of course, 10th graders, you are essentially 11th graders. I mean, you've got another month of school left. Okay. But as I talk about this, it's really important that you think of it, whether you're a 9th grader, 10th grader, 11th grader, whether you're in college, okay? To think about the things that I present to you, not just from the standpoint of what is going to help me get into college, but really what's going to make you a better person. So that's sort of the thrust of my presentation today. If you think about, okay, what is going to make me a better person, it's really going to make you a better college applicant. So I start off with the first thought that I had in thinking about this presentation. I remember it's something that my father-in-law used to say to me. He'd say, don't worry, things will work out. Okay? Now, there's a little bit more depth to that. And he didn't mean just sit back and don't worry, don't do anything. What did he say, or what did he mean? Not to worry, but in terms of doing something, how would things work out? Why would things work out for you? If you do what? Not if you do nothing, but if you do what? Work hard. Okay? That's sort of, in other words, you work at it, okay? And as my mother one time, or many times, used to say to me, if it's something worth doing, it's worth doing well. And so my father-in-law would say, don't worry, if you keep working at it and working to the best of your ability, things will work out. Now, it might not necessarily work out the way in which you have planned, but they will work out for you, okay? So that's one thing that I think is very important, is that whatever you do to the best of your ability. Now, some of you right now say, well, I'm not that great at anything. But you've got some abilities, regardless of who you are, what you do, you've got some abilities that are better than others, okay? And use those. But one of the things that I think is important is that not only do you have the abilities, but you're not really good at anything. How are you going to get better at those things that you have some abilities in, that you're interested in? How are you going to get better at them? How are you going to get better at the things? It's not just going to happen. What have you got to do?
Practice.
You got to practice, okay? And you got to practice how? Somebody one time said to me, and I'm never really good at tennis, but if you keep practicing the wrong thing, you're not going to get better. So in other words, a lot of times, and certainly sometimes, but a lot of times, we need people to help us. And I always say that a wise person is someone who asks for help when he needs it. And I asked this to the other group, and somebody knew the answer. But Tiger Woods, who theoretically he didn't win the Masters, but he's still probably one of the better golfers. Tiger Woods always travels with what?
Coach?
Yeah, he travels with a coach. The best golfer in the world always travels with a coach. In other words, if something goes wrong, he doesn't try to fix it himself. I mean, he does work on himself, but he turns to someone who knows well, someone who's got some advice and can help him. Okay, that's what you need to do. In other words, and I know high school students, you feel like, okay, I want to do it all myself. None of us are going to be successful all by things we do ourselves. Even Tiger Woods has a coach, has someone he uses. Okay, so that's what I want you to do, is to make sure you're using advice, okay? The first thing that I want to say to freshmen and sophomores, and of course, sophomores, you're almost juniors at this point, but to make sure you're aware that all high school grades do count. And I asked the last group, and there's some new people in here, do any of you have any credits that carry over from 8th grade? Okay. All right, so some of you have taken some high school courses in 8th grade. Those count as well. But, you know, so do many other things. Okay, it's not, you are not just the sum of all of your courses, okay, and all of your grades. You're much more than that, okay? All high school grades do count. But again, colleges, as they look at grades, will look not only at the grades that you've gotten, the courses that you've taken, and, you know, is there a trend, up or down? So even if you did poorly in the 8th grade or 9th grade or even 10th grade, but you can do better next year and make up some difference there, okay? One of the things that I think is really important is that you pursue your own development, okay? And I really point this to you. Each person is different, okay? So just because another person is doing something, I say this to parents, just because you hear parents say, oh, so-and-so is doing something, doesn't mean that it's right for you or for your child, okay? Keep in mind what is best for that individual person, okay? Pursue your development. In other words, if you have an interest in a certain area, pursue that, okay? Don't just assume that everything you have to do is right here in school, okay? So there are lots of things outside of school that you might be interested in, okay? Pursue that. I met with a student the other day who was interested in sound recording. I don't know, maybe some of you all are interested in sound recording. She likes music, and she's interested in sound recording. And I said, well, have you done anything with it? She hadn't done anything with it. So in other words, if that's something that she's really interested in, she needs to get involved with it. So I told her that. She wrote me an email the other day and said, I talked to somebody who said, yeah, we'd love to have you help us. So that's the kind of thing, sound recording may not appeal to you. If it's sports, or if it's drama, whatever, it's politics, whatever it is, pursue your interest and your development.